Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, hello there. I'm Degen, this is Marvel Heroes 2015, and this is all things Venom. In this video, we'll talk about all Venom's powers, all Venom's costumes, and maybe some other cool Venom-related stuff. Alright, and first we'll get into the costumes. First up, we have Venom Classic costume. This is your standard Venom attire. You know, everyone knows Venom to look like this. And secondly, we have the Anti-venom costume. This is much crazier looking. This is actually pretty nuts. But these are two of his initial launch costumes. Be sure to let me know down below which one of these two costumes is your favorite, and I will let you know at the end of the video what my favorite Venom costume is. Alright, and first things first, let's check out Venom's Hero Synergy. For the level 25, it's plus 3% health, and for the level 50, it is plus 5% damage if below 50% health. Next, real quick, before getting into the powers, we'll check out Venom's resource. He does not have Spirit, he has Ichor. So when you see gear adding to Ichor or powers that require it, this is what it's talking about. Alright, and moving into the powers now, we'll start in the Lethal Protector tree. Now, keep in mind, this is just 1 point in every power, the rest is gained by gear. So this is not a build, this is just checking out each individual power. The first power is Hungering Strike. This does physical damage and regenerates some of your missing health on hit. This is what it looks like on enemies. Next up we have Predator's Web. This does physical damage, it'll slow the enemies will take more damage with vulnerability, it's an area of effect, and it restores your Ichor if you're missing it. It looks very similar to Spider-Man's web spray. Next we have Tendril Lunge. Fling out a tar-like tendril and quickly pulls you closer to your prey. This does physical damage and it will regenerate your health. 6% of your missing health, so that number will go up or down depending on how much health you're actually missing. That's what it looks like. Next we have Dark Tendrils. Expend your own lifeblood to fuel deadly blows. So this does physical damage plus 0.5% for each 1% health you're missing. So the lower you are in health, the more damage this will do. And it will also restore Ichor. And it costs health to use. This is what it looks like on enemies. Next up is Web Snapshot. This is a basic ranged attack, so if you want to go ranged, this is, you know, the basic you could possibly use. This does physical damage and regenerates missing health on hit. Depending on how much health you're missing, will be determined on how much you regenerate back. This is what it looks like. Next up is Web Barrage. This does physical damage. Damage plus 0.5% for each 1% health you're missing. So again, this is like the last Dark Tendrils power we used, where the lower health you have, the more damage it'll do. This also restores Ichor on hit, and it costs health to cast. This is what it looks like on foes. Pew pew! Pew! Next up, we have Web Swing. Hold down the hotkey to swing. This gives you travel speed. This is basically a mobility power. It's like a flight or Spider-Man's web swing. And here you go. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! And next up we have Come to Venom. This does physical damage. This will increase your melee powers by 10% for 8 seconds when you use it. This will restore a bunch of Ichor, and it costs health. This is what it looks like. And finally, in the Lethal Protector tree, the last power we have here is Web Swing Kick. This is a melee movement. Swing forward, suspended by a web, knocking down all enemies in your path. This does physical damage, knockdown duration, restores Ichor, and it costs health. This is what it looks like on enemies. Boom! Alright, next up we have the Monstrosity tree. The first power in here is Symbiote Surge. This is a ranged Ichor power. This does physical damage plus 50% against slowed enemies. And this power costs Ichor. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like on enemies. Next up we have Infect. This is a melee area Ichor power. This has a passive effect to it where you'll regenerate 5% of your missing health when you hit a weakened enemy. And the active effect is physical damage twice per second. And weakened enemies will deal 10% less damage to you. This is what it looks like. Next, we have Deadly Maw. This will do physical damage plus 50% against weakened enemies. This is what it looks like. As you can see, you take a quick swipe and then a big chomp. Swipe, swipe, chomp. Yum, 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 yum. Scrumptious. Next is Devouring Tendrils. This is a melee area Iker. This does physical damage, regenerate health when you defeat an enemy. This is what it looks like. This is what it looks like on multiple enemies. Here we have Wicked Visage. This is Venom's CC break. When you use it, it will do this. That's what it looks like, and that'll break you out of any crowd control area like stun or bind or anything like that. Next we have Wraithing Tendrils. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Meh. But anyways, it does physical damage twice per second, immobilizes the enemies. Range power-based damage increased by 10% for 8 seconds after you use this power. It costs Iker. This is what it looks like on enemies. And finally, in the monstrosity tree, we have Hungry Maw. This does physical damage, it'll knock down enemies and restore health. This is what it looks like. Alright, and finally we have the Symbiosis tree. This tree can be a bit tricky because it's got these 6 passives. You can only choose one or the other for each column, so if you choose We Are Indestructible, you cannot pick We Are Unstoppable. If you choose We Are Powerful, you cannot pick We Are Cunning. And We Are Lethal, We Are Legion, you can only have one or the other. So I have it set to each power tree is a different row. But so what this passive does is basically they work along with your SIG. Now this is the passive right here. It's called Symbiotic Spikes. So this is, yeah, this is the this is the signature, sorry. Now all these passives work with it, or they add to it, I should say. This gives it regenerate health when you activate it. This one makes it increase the range of initial pull towards the effect by 35%. And this one, you gain 300 Iker when you use Symbiotic Spikes. Now, these also are passive, so they don't only have that effect. This also just always gives you damage negated, maximum health, regenerate health, and when below 50% health, you regenerate even more health. We Are Powerful gives you critical hit rating, melee damage negated, and 25% chance on hit to cause an Iker burst, dealing damage to the enemy. Also, you and your allies gain toughness. We Are Lethal gives damage rating, damage for Iker powers, and maximum Iker. Iker cost reduction 9.3. Now down the other side, We Are Unstoppable gives you a flat out damage negated, defense rating, health reduction. So the powers that cost health to cast, they won't cost quite as much. And if you're below 50%, you get an extra 20% damage negation. We Are Cunning will give you critical hit rating, projectile deflection, 25% chance on hit to cause infect, dealing damage twice per second, and power, which power will go to all of your allies. We Are Legion gives you damage rating, 46% chance when you hit with an Iker power to create a symbiote spawn. The symbiote spawn is a little summon. I'll show that. Now that is a symbiote spawn. I don't know if you can see that little, this little guy right here. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. That's actually one, although it looks like 2. They come in pairs. Next up, we'll just check out the signature. This does a ton of physical damage, and whatever of those passives you have on will also enhance this, as well as a synergy with We Are Venom, which is his ultimate power. The higher your synergy, the more damage it will do. This is the range of the signature, and this is what it does to enemies. Let's wrangle up a lot of enemies here. See, it pulls them all in and then just does a ton of damage. Cooldown 25 seconds. And finally, the very last power in the Symbiosis tree is Parasitic Tendrils. This does physical damage twice per second, max drain of 3 targets, restores Iker, restores health, damage negated while channeling, max channel time, and this is what it looks like. So it's just draining from all these enemies around me. Last but not least, here comes the coup de grace. We Are Venom. This is melee, area, physical damage. Max drain targets 9, and a cooldown of 10 minutes. And when you use this, it also buffs you. It gives you damage rating, critical and brutal rating, damage negated by 30%, and regenerate health per second, and that lasts for 20 seconds. This is what this ultimate looks like on enemies. That was the ultimate and the signature put together. And let's just finish this guy off while we still have this ultimate buff on. Check, please. And it's that time for the end of the video, and I told you I'd tell you what my favorite costume was. I'm going to have to go with the Venom Classic, although the Anti-Venom costume is also amazing. Both Venom costumes, I think, are amazingly well done. I really like them both. but I have to go with the classic as my favorite choice just because, you know, it's classic Venom. This is the Spider-Man fanboy in me. You know, I always love the classic stuff. It's all about nostalgia all the time. Anyways, this is it. I just want to say thank you so very much for watching. Thanks a ton for watching. I hope you enjoyed this at least a little bit, and I appreciate every second of it. Now I hope you have a fantastic day and an amazing night, and I'll hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one. See you later. Hail Hydra.